Hello, welcome back to my channel. So Chaz thought he was finally gonna get some birthday sex from his wife. He shaved his booty and all, but it was at this very moment, pictured here, that Chaz realized he shaved his booty for nothing. So has anyone else noticed besides me that every single time Chaz talks about Branwin or sees her, he immediately starts like rolling his tongue and starts getting all excited and playing with it? Like, you know, as soon as Branwin sees Chaz playing with his tongue, she starts having a panic attack. So Chaz went and picked up Branwin from one of her classes. I guess she's doing a Spanish class now. And when I saw him hug her, I've never seen anyone as not into someone as Branwin is about Chaz with her little one-armed hug. Like, she looked like how I hug my mom when she picks me up from the first day of school and I tell her, Mom, quit hugging and kissing me in front of my friends. Like, she looked like she was ready to get out of there ASAP. And I'm sure Branwin puts on a good act while in prison or on the phone with Chaz, but it's like every time this girl gets anywhere near Chaz, she looks so freaking miserable and like her whole day is ruined and she catches an attitude. You can tell she would rather be anywhere else but there. And I feel like if it wasn't for the show, you know, pushing them to be together and hang out together for footage, Branwin probably would have never agreed to meet up with this man again after they got married. And I wish Chaz would really start reading the room, because she doesn't act like that when she's around her friends or around her little ex-boyfriend Aaron. It's just specifically Chaz she's like that with. And that's your husband. That's the person who's supposed to bring joy and peace to your life, that you look forward to, the best part of your day. And it's the complete opposite when it comes to Branwin with Chaz. So Chaz brought Branwin back to his cabin and they were sitting there having dinner together. And Chaz brought up the fact he wanted to know what Branwin's thoughts were about her moving, because he was starting to get concerned after her friends were crying to him about her moving on his birthday. And Branwin said, look, I committed to you and you're not willing to budge, so that's a commitment I made and I have to stand by it. And she just came off like she was super passive aggressive and annoyed while she said that. It was so obvious that she didn't want to move in with this man. Like, she just needs to be an adult. Like, she's 40 years old, woman up, and tell the man you ain't feeling him or you don't want to move in with him anymore. But instead, Branwin would rather try to redirect the conversation because she doesn't like having hard conversations. And she doesn't want to tell this man how she's really feeling. Like, I don't know, she's just trying to be nice. She's trying to stay on the show and, you know, keep this relationship going as long as possible. I don't know what it is, but it's so freaking obvious. So after Branwin tried to change the subject, Chaz moved on to the next thing on his mind, and that was trying to take Branwin to Pound Town. So he brought up to her that, hey, you know, when we went to the strip club yesterday, I sure got awfully excited. And she rolled her eyes. She was so annoyed and pissed. She said, wow, you really shift gears fast. And she was acting like she was so overwhelmed because he was changing the subject so fast. And Chaz was stressing this girl out so much. She was sucking on her thumb for comfort. And like, I thought Chaz was going to be like, I got something you can suck on. But it's like, regardless what he says, it's going to end up as a disaster at this point, because Branwin deals with her emotions like a child. And trust me, I know a big part of that is probably from some trauma she's went through in her life, especially with the thumb sucking. A lot of times that's related to childhood trauma people experience, and they want to go back to that feeling like back when they were in childhood. And I know it's also because she's been on drugs for majority of her life, so she's used to running away from her problems instead of dealing with them face to face and communicating about things. So instead she just panics every single time. It's like Chaz just wants to consummate his marriage. It's been months. I know she's probably getting annoyed of hearing about it, but like, don't marry the dude if you have no attraction to him whatsoever. I think it was a huge mistake for them to rush and get married the first day fresh out of prison. And now we got Chaz out here feeling like a crackhead because she's left this man with blue balls so many times. He's probably about to look like a member of the Blue Man Group. And has anyone else noticed that So WeTV, they always play serial killer music every time sex comes up with Chaz and Branwin. Like, you know that's when it's about to get real right there. So after he brought that up, she's like, "You're overwhelming me. You shift gears fast." She throws her hands in her face. She starts crying. And she runs outside and she calls her sponsor. But here's the thing. If any of you guys who watch me are in NA or AA, you know that you're not supposed to have a sponsor of the same sex or the opposite sex. So I don't even think that really was her sponsor. I kind of feel like it was somebody else and she was just trying to say it was her sponsor to look good. But she goes outside and calls this dude and she's like, "Look, you know, I'm overwhelmed. He's bringing up the fact he wants me to move. My friends don't want me to move." And she starts crying. She's like, "I don't want to use, but I don't want to feel like crap either. And at this point, I think I want to go back to prison because it was easier." And it's like, girl, don't have this conversation with your sponsor. Have this conversation with your husband so you can work through things and get things figured out. Like, come on, man. And so she's sitting there crying to him. And it's pretty sad when you say you'd rather be in prison than be around or have sex with your husband. So she sits there, and then her sponsor was like, "Well, if you have any more issues, give me a call back." She goes inside. Chaz all upset because it was at this moment he knew that he shaved his booty for nothing. And he sat there and told producers while she was outside on the phone, he said, "Look," he's starting to finally read the room. He said, "Look, I'm just not the one for her. She's not feeling me. She doesn't want this. I think this was a huge mistake. I'm just not what she wants. I'm just not what makes her happy." And that's exactly what I'm seeing, what she's giving off, because she seems so miserable. Every time he's anywhere around, like, I can't remember the last time I saw her happy around. But here's the thing. So Chaz was expressing that to producers, right? She comes back inside, and he's like, "Okay, let's just go ahead and take you home." And immediately, no more tears. No more panicking. She was perfectly fine after that and said, "Okay, let's go." Like, she'd been waiting to hear those words. At this point, she knows all she has to do is panic, and Chaz will take her home, and he doesn't want to upset her or poke the porcupine any more than he already has, so he avoids the hard conversations after that and lets her kind of get away with whatever she wants to get away with. So Chaz took her home. They didn't really say anything to each other the whole car ride home. Finally, when he dropped her off, she didn't give him no hug, no kiss, nothing. She said, "Let's not poke the porcupine any more than it's already been poked." And she hurried up and got out of that car as fast as she could. And, you know, I was giving Branwin crap because she doesn't keep it real with Chaz. And yes, Chaz has no problem saying what he wants and stuff like that, but at the same time, he needs to learn how to communicate too. Like what he was telling those producers, he should have told Branwin as soon as she got back in from inside. And I'm so confused because I have no idea why. Okay, I guess I kind of have an idea why, because this is his wife, they're married, he doesn't want to just give up so easily. But at the same time, if you can't communicate and have the hard conversations with your wife, then y'all shouldn't be married to begin with. And second, like, he needs to sit there and tell Branwin, why drag this out any longer than it should? Like, how many times do you have to get rejected for you to be like, okay, yeah, she's not feeling me? Because I know that has to mess with his self-esteem. That would not feel good to constantly be rejected by the person you love, who's supposed to be in love with you and want to be affectionate with you, when she's the complete opposite. So it's like, why are you dragging this out any more than it needs to? You're only going to hurt yourself more in the end run. Plus, let us not forget, Chaz shaved his booty for this. So every single time he takes a shower, if he sees his little shaved booty and sees he didn't get to put that thing to good use, he's going to be upset, and it's going to be another reminder on top of that. And why do you just want to keep putting yourself through that? And let's hope to God he doesn't get no razor rash, because that really sucked to shave and get some razor rash and you still didn't get none. There's nothing worse than shaving your booty for nothing. But that's it for this video, guys. Let me know your thoughts on this whole mess in the comments below. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and thank you guys so much for watching.